Welcome back. Today I'm not going to analyze an entire game, but I am going to look at the one position in which I did not follow my own advice, and the advice that I've given that many of you have also given to me, which is not to resign. At our level, it often turns out that resigning isn't the best advice, even if you're obviously down, even if you're obviously about to have your queen taken, as is the position here on the board. Not only could your opponent blunder later on and give you the advantage back, but you might win on time and so forth and so on. You could also eke out a stalemate, which I've done on several occasions. But here, or perhaps because I was tired last night when I was playing this game, this bishop has just moved out to g5. It's protected by its queen, and it's attacking my knight and my queen. We were even on material at this point. I've traded off my light squared bishop for one of their knights, and it looks like I'm going to have to move my queen out of danger some way, somehow, so it doesn't get taken by that bishop. I certainly don't want to take the bishop, because then I'll just lose my queen for a bishop. And if I do move my queen out of danger, they're just going to get my knight. So I'm resigned. You can see the eval bar on the right, and if you're watching on a large enough screen, you should be able to see the move list up at the top. I have a move here that is winning, minus 7.5. If I was playing with the mind of a machine, I would have seen that I can win this game by taking the d4 pawn. I, of course, did not see that, and now that I do see that, I still don't understand it. Some of you have probably already seen what the answer is, because many of you are higher rated than me, and some of you, even at my rating and lower, I know from experience that you are better at seeing tactics than I am. But I do see that it says I should take the pawn on d4 with my knight, which I see that my bishop is aiming at it, so they wouldn't take back with their queen. But it looks like I would take a pawn, and then they would, I assume, take my queen at that point. That's what the line says. After I took that pawn, they would capture my queen, and I would be winning, according to Stockfish. Well, what I'm going to do here is follow out the line that I should have played if I had spent some of my remaining 8 minutes to figure this out. So if instead of taking the next few seconds to find the resign button and click it, if I had looked around, thought for a minute, would I have found this move? Let's see. The line says after I take that, they'll take my queen. Okay, well, that's what I would do if I were them, but I would be way ahead, because I would play knight d to f3 at that point, which is a check, also aiming at their queen. It's a fork. But keep in mind, I'm down 8 points of material at that point. Their bishop is guarding that square, so I assume they would take with their bishop. Let's open that line up. It says they would take with their bishop, but I have another knight guarding that square, so I would move it there. It would still be a check. They would have to move their king. I don't know where they would move it. They would have to move it to either h1 or g2. The line says g2, and then I would capture their queen. I'm running out of colors here, but you understand I would take their queen with my knight on d2. Okay, well, that seems pretty complicated, and I'm not going to kick myself for not finding that, but I should have played on. Had I played on, what would I have done? I think I just would have lost a knight. It's probably what I would have done at this point. I'm thinking I probably would have put my queen here, which is not the second or third best move. Moving it to c7 is my second best move, and that would leave, let's close those lines, that would leave white with a +2 advantage, because of course they would take my knight. Also, it says queen to e8 is my third best move, and then they would take my knight. Well, how bad would it be if I went over here? It would be a little worse than the two that were suggested, and they would of course take my knight. Then I would take this. Well, that's why I would have put my queen there, so that this would all be lined up at that pawn. Oh no, it's changed its mind. It says probably, well, it's jumping around. Thinks maybe I should take this pawn with my queen. No, I should take it with my knight. No, I should take this other pawn. Okay, it's settled back on the original idea of taking this pawn with the knight, and then they would play rook a to d1, and I would just be down +4. And I don't know if I could pull this out or not. Okay. Well, let's go back and take a look at this. This is the whole reason that I decided to make this video, because when I got to this point in my analysis, I realized I probably should have been videoing this analysis anyway. Take care. I'm up -7. I find it fascinating that Stockfish says it's actually pretty close for white to take the knight or to take the queen. But anybody I've ever played in this position, I'm positive, including me, would take the queen. And it is slightly better for them. Okay, so they do that. And now, doesn't matter which knight I put on f3 that much. It's still -7 point something, but it looks like the d knight is slightly better. Okay, so I check. Now they only have one legal move, because my two knights are cutting off those squares from the king. The only legal move is to capture the knight, and then I would take it back. Now my opponent at this point is up 8 points of material, because I got the pawn and they got my queen. Their bishop is still down here hanging. Okay. Now they have to move out of check. It's slightly better to come to g2, according to Stockfish. Then I will take their queen. It's the only move here. Well, now I'm hitting their rook and their bishop. The engine says it's slightly better for them to get this bishop out of danger. I assume that's because that's a whole piece that they would lose here. If they moved the rook over, I would just get the bishop. But what if they moved the rook here? That's not even one of their top 3 moves. But I think that's what I would probably play here. And then we would be threatening an even piece exchange. I also don't understand how I'm up minus 7.8 when I'm only up 1 point of material. And it looks like we're each going to lose a minor piece here, right? If they play that, and I take their bishop, and they take my knight, I'm still up just 1 point of material. Their best move is here to threaten my rook. And I wouldn't take theirs, I would move mine. Okay, that's weird. I kind of want to follow both the lines out, but I think it would be my instinct and probably my opponent's instinct to go here. Okay, but I can save the knight by threatening the other rook. Okay. So now, oh, it still says that it's better for them to move this here. That's because if I take this rook, they're going to get my knight as well. Okay, so let's say they found their best move, which is here. Is it my best move to take that rook? It is not. My best move is to move mine. Even though if they took it, I have 2 ways of taking back, and my knight is safe for the moment. Oh, you know what? Now I see why it was better for their king to go here rather than h1 to get out of check, because then my bishop would be also hitting this pawn. They're here, their king is guarding that pawn. But that's an aside here. Okay, I should move my rook to f7. Now I'm up minus 8, because again, their bishop's under fire, but so is their rook. So they're going to... Computer says they would save the bishop. Now I take their rook, and they take back. Okay, that makes sense. These 2 pawns have been staring at each other for a little while. It says my best move is probably to take that pawn, but it's just as good if I bring this rook over here to e8 or f8. Okay, I do get f8. I'm not sure about e8. f8 I understand, because then whichever pawn takes the other pawn, both my rooks are staring down here. But that's protected. Oh, but my bishop's pointing at it too. Well, let's say I just decided to clear up the tension with the pawns, and we traded these pawns. Now is it? No, now it's not. Oh, yep, that does turn out to be my best move. Okay, but now I'm up 3 points of material, but the computer says I have a minus 8 advantage. Now, is that because I have 3 pieces pointed at this f pawn? Rook to f1 is their best move. Now they have 3 defenders on the f pawn. It says rook to f3 is my best move. Rook to f4 is my second best move. Or g5. Wait, does g5 do? They wouldn't take it even though it's undefended, because that would remove a defender from their f pawn. Okay, so g5 they would then drop back, I assume. It says, yeah, they would drop back, and then I would play rook to f3. But again, I'm only up 3 points of material. I'm up in exchange, a rook for a knight, and a pawn. Oh, I have a passed pawn. Okay, maybe that's part of it here. And my king is safer than their king. Well, let's say I played here because that pawn is in danger, so that makes sense to me. To attack this pawn. Can they defend it? Okay, they can defend it by pushing. Wait, if they push this, oh, they would still have 2 defenders on it, but it removes one of my attackers. Okay, so that makes sense. And then I play rook to d4, I guess aiming to come around and check this way? No, it doesn't say that for sure. Why wouldn't I play d4 to attack their knight? Where can their knight go? Oh, their knight couldn't go there because of the other pawn. If I played d4, where would their knight go? Oh, it could go there and attack my rook. Right? Is that what it would do? Oh no, that's not good for me, and they would go in here. Now I'm only up plus 6. That's still a pretty significant advantage though, but what am I going to do about it? It says my best move is to take it. They take here and then I take their rook? Yes. And then they take here, I assume, and now I push this pawn. It says their best move is g5. Oh, I guess to guard the next square? Okay. What about bringing their king to get in front of it? King to e1 is their second best move. Let's say they found that instead, trying to get in front of this pawn. Then I would play bishop to e3 to protect this square. Well, then they would still get in front of it, wouldn't they? Oh, and then I start bringing my king. Coming after these, I can't get in there though, because those squares are all covered, as is that one. I guess I have to go around this way? I can't. So why did I come here? Can't come up, and if I go there, there's nowhere to go from there, so I have to go this way, but I can't go there because of the bishop, so... Oh, but they're going to move their bishop. Right? That's what it says, their best move. I don't know if they would, but what else do they have? b3? That was one of the top 3 moves. Oh, and it says I am going to go this way. Really? Okay. Oh, is it because I'm about to play h5? Yes. No matter what they play, my next move is h5. Okay, so I can get through over here. Now they definitely need to come back with that. Now I can come up this way, and their best move is to trade off the bishops here, but I'm not supposed to take. I'm supposed to back up a little bit and let them take here, which they would, and I would take back, and now I'm going to get these 2 pawns, but they're going to come for this pawn, right? Okay, I'm going to take this one to protect my pawn. their best move is to move one of those pawns. And I'm up minus 24, mind you. It says no matter which one of those pawns they play, I'm going to play king to d4 and just stick here behind this pawn. I think that's because none of those pawns can go anywhere, and neither can this one. And eventually they're going to have to make a king move, and I'm going to be able to get around one way or the other, around this pawn, because I have to get in front of it in order to advance it. Yeah, at no point in that did it look like I was up minus 8 to me, and it looked like I would have to play very precisely in the end game in order to pull anything out of that. But yeah, my opponent blundered here, and a machine would have won this game. I don't know, maybe Magnus Carlsen would have won this game. Maybe Gotham and Hikaru and all those other people would have known, oh, he's not defending the d4 pawn anymore. Now I can take it, and I don't care about this because I'm going to end up forking his king, and they're going to take it, and I'm going to take over here, and then we're going to end up getting the queen and threatening the rook, and end up coming over here and threatening that rook, and then their bishop's going to have to run away, and we're going to move our rook. Well, not then. You know what I'm saying. We're going to move our rook, and that does sound like something that Hikaru or one of those people would figure out. Speaking of which, I have switched from from Spanish to learning Japanese a few weeks ago, and one of the words that I got just the other day was Hikaru, which means to shine. It's a verb. I just found that out a couple days ago, and since I said his name, that reminded me of it. Anyway, in case you were curious, that's what Mr. Nakamura's first name or given name means, to shine. Okay, well, I hope you got something out of this. Once again, the advice at our level is to not resign, but here it depends on seeing an incredible tactic. Like I said, I probably would have played over here and lost my knight and then taken the pawn, and we would have fought I would have fought a losing battle hoping to win on time, or maybe getting into a complex endgame, or hoping my opponent blundered later. But I could have made him work for it. It just looked like they had already won right here with this, but that was not the case. Their best move before that bishop was to play knight to e2. It was the only move that wouldn't have been counted as at least an inaccuracy or a mistake. I guess knight to e2 would defend the d4 pawn, because it says then I would bring my knight back. I don't know that I would. I was thinking about taking this pawn. But anyway, don't resign. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.